I was diving at Shaw's Cove and in the morning on a Sunday, and I went out and just was laying down on the rocky reef that's out there about 30 feet deep, and I saw something coming from a distance, and it looked gray, and I thought, my goodness, that's a giant sea bass, which can grow to be 500 pounds and be 8 feet long. It was the nose of a whale coming, swimming with its pectoral fins tucked into its side and swimming just by his tail. And it was a mature gray whale with barnacles all over its body. And it swam probably within 40 feet of me, and I could see its eye just studying me. I just felt like it was just peering right into my soul. The whole thing lasted 10 seconds, but it was 10 seconds that totally changed my life. I researched later that in the wild, just by chance, there was a 1 in 30,000 chance that could happen to you. It was so unusual that it stayed with me, and I knew over the course of time, it was like I was called to come to the ocean. It took 15 years before I heeded that call, but I moved to Long Beach, California, got a teaching job, and I lived in my van at the beach because I always wanted to. I almost feel like the big brother of the sea was the whale, and that he also communicated to those seahorses that he's okay. I've already checked him out. Because out there alone, one flap of his tail, I would be gone. The opportunity to work with seahorses was impromptu. I was not expecting it. I was working on a project with octopi and saw an orange seahorse swim by, which was a very unusual event. Having dived for 30 years, I recognized that something was out of place. As I got more involved in nature and more time underwater and watching the creatures as they lived, I started to notice some differences between them and the upstairs world. That means the world above the waterline. And what I noticed underwater, that these little creatures were so kind. Really troubled me greatly why I could not be like what I was seeing every day. And I noticed the contrast in my own self. And I realized I had a lot of growing to do. I would like to say I became more seahorse-like. And it's not like I'm the wisest man in the world, because I learned through my mistakes. Maybe that's wisdom. I would hope to think true wisdom was where you already knew and didn't have to learn it again. I think I'm kept there to present a message. And I don't know how come I chose to do it. I kind of felt this way, though. I felt like the day that the Lord came down there where the seahorses were to look for somebody to help, I was the only person there. And I really thought about this many times, like, why me? I think he came to me in a place, probably one of the few places that I would listen, and that's underwater, where it's quiet and tranquil, and there's not the insanity of the world on the land side, where people are hurting people for no reason. And I think if there's a message I'm supposed to deliver, it's to be more like those little creatures of the sea. That's the beauty of the sea, and the beauty of the story that's been revealed to me underwater. And since they can't speak, I guess I get to speak for them. They've accepted me in their life as close as I can be to being a fish like them, that they're not afraid of me. And I've kind of learned this because I care about them first. And by caring about them first, I'm also learning about caring about people on land first. I have 4 seahorses in my colony. which may not seem like a lot to you, but first you need to understand how rare the seahorses are. If you went alone with me, you would be the only person in all of California to see one live in the wild. That's how rare it is. So just to say we have four of the rarest creatures that are around. And each of them do have a personality. Bathsheba's very amiable and kind. She's sort of like the queen bee of the colony to me. She doesn't mind if you come over by her. You know, you have to respect her individuality first. Her significant other is called CD Street. He's a new little guy that just roved into the community in June. And we're getting to know each other. We've only seen each other about 40 times so far, which is like brand new for a seahorse. So we're kind of each checking each other out, and I'm giving him some room, and you know, so he can understand what I am. I am a little bit bigger, you know. And then Daphne is a very different kind of seahorse. She has a personality, and it seems like she's a little afraid, and she has been since I met her 4 years ago. And so understanding that, I try not to look her in the eye because she gets frightened. So if I see her, it's usually out of the corner of my eye, and I'll just swim by, not to bother her one way or the other, and kind of give her space. Deep Blue is Daphne's significant, and he's a boy, and he is pretty casual, really. He usually hangs around the same place. He'll stay there for a year at a time. And if he sees you and he doesn't really want to be bothered, his little tail's wrapped around a stick, and what he does, he just kind of scoots around the other direction. And if you politely scoot around to look at him in the eye, he'll just politely scoot around on the stick till he's facing the other direction. What I've learned about the seahorses is they're a lot like us, and that is that none of them are the same color. They all have different markings, just like we all human beings do. Deep Blue is sort of a rust color, and he has like 7 little markings down his spine. And Daphne is about 10.5 inches tall or in height, and has like 12 little markings down her spine. She's kind of a yellowish color, quite yellow, matter of fact. Bathsheba is pretty much like her, only she's 10.25 inches tall and has flecks of gold and silver across her body, and she's definitely yellow. And CD Street, the new little guy, he's probably only 7 inches tall, and he's kind of a rust color, but he has splotches of white on him. Here's the point. The message I would say is, even though we're all different, we're all alike, so let's all get along, or try to. I understand what try to get along means. It's difficult in the world. I wish I could undo things that I do every day, but there's no chance I'll ever see the person again. So I just have to say, I'm going to do better next time. If there's a message I'm supposed to deliver, it's to be more like those little creatures of the sea. They're a model. And frankly, having spent so much time with them, I understand why the Greeks and the Romans and the Phoenicians and the Istrians studied them thousands of years ago. In my opinion, they're superior. I say I am a C- on land, but I'm Mensa underwater. I think I'm in the environment that I should be in. I really feel if I was ever anything, that I should have been a fish.